There's a moment outside a pork store. Tony Soprano is standing. Paulie Gualtieri is sitting in his folding chair. And for about 3 full seconds, Paulie stares at Tony with a sadness so heavy, so final, it could sink the friendship they built over 40 years. Most viewers think that look is fear, reluctance. A man who just got handed a job he didn't want. It isn't. That look is a goodbye. Because by the time Tony walks away from that table, the decision has already been made. Tony is going to die, and Paulie is the one who's going to hand him over. To understand how this ends, you need to understand one thing about Paulie Walnuts. Paulie is not loyal. He's not disloyal. Paulie is a survivor. Full stop.
I lived through the 70s by the skin of my nuts when the Columbos were going at it.
He tells us this himself. He reminds us he got through the Columbo Wars by the skin of his nuts. That's not a tough guy boast. That's a confession. Paulie Gualtieri survives while stronger men die, because Paulie Gualtieri is always reading the room. And for 6 seasons, the room has been telling him the same thing. Tony doesn't respect him. Tony passes him over. Tony promotes Janice's husband over him. Tony demotes him from underboss. Tony humiliates him in Florida, mocks his laugh, calls him a bladdermouth. Tony destroys the painting of himself on horseback, the one Paulie rescued against orders and had redressed in a Napoleonic general's uniform, then hung in his own living room with actual pride. Every one of those humiliations is a deposit, and by the final season, the account is full. So when New York comes knocking one last time, Paulie doesn't even have to think about it. He already decided years ago. Here's the thing most Sopranos fans miss. Paulie has done this before. Season 4.
You were doing the county book in Youngstown. So what'd they pinch you for?
Gun charge.
Paulie is in prison, arrested in Youngstown, Ohio on a gun charge. And while he's sitting in that Ohio jail cell, feeling abandoned by Tony and the family, he gets Johnny Sack on the phone.
Tony?
Suffice to say, no matter what happens now or in the future, Carmine won't forget you.
And Johnny doesn't just check in. Johnny makes an offer. He tells Paulie that no matter what happens to Tony, now or in the future, Carmine won't forget him. That's not friendship, that's recruitment. That's a capo of a rival family floating a coup to an underboss from New Jersey. And what does Paulie do? He listens. He talks. He feeds Johnny information.
What's your name again?
Johnny talked to you about me, right?
Johnny who? Sack? Talk to me about what?
He gets so excited about the idea of being New York's guy that he brags about it at a dinner, only to be cool guyed by Carmine, who doesn't even remember who he is. Now, here is the detail that changes everything. A lot of viewers think that moment, the embarrassment, the rejection, is when Paulie learned his lesson and came crawling back to Jersey. That is the wrong reading. Paulie didn't come back because he was loyal. He came back because he got caught with nowhere else to go. That's not loyalty, that's logistics. And look at what happens next. Between season 2 and season 6, Paulie quietly gets demoted.
It's me and you and Sil together. That's the new pecking order.
In season 2, Tony tells him straight to his face, me, then you and Sil. That's the new pecking order. Paulie is underboss, but by the time New York declares war in the Blue Comet, Bobby Bacalieri is underboss. Bobby, Junior's driver, Janice's husband. And here's the part I want you to sit with. When New York goes to war,
Top 3 guys.
Paulie Gualtieri?
No, management. Tony Soprano, plus Silvio Dante, and we think Bobby Bacalieri.
the 3 names Butchie reads out at that beauty salon are Tony, Silvio, and Bobby. Not Paulie, not the family's toughest, most experienced enforcer, not the army vet with the highest confirmed kill count of any character in the entire series. Why would a rival family spare the single most dangerous soldier on the opposing side? Unless he isn't on the opposing side anymore. Let's talk about Pine Barrens. Every Sopranos fan loves that episode.
Fuck, there's some ketchups and shit.
The Russian, the ketchup packets, Paulie's hair iced into a frozen helmet. It is one of the most beloved hours of television ever made. It is also the episode where Paulie nearly gets the entire Soprano family erased. A simple pickup, a simple envelope, and Paulie manages to lose a Russian mobster in the snow.
He killed 16 Chechen rebels single-handed.
He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator.
A former Russian Interior Ministry operative who, according to Tony's intel, killed 16 men and was some kind of Russian Green Beret. The kind of guy Tony's crew absolutely cannot afford to lose. One bad pickup, and Tony is staring down a potential war with the Russians. That is a capo-ending screw-up. In any other family, in any other show, Paulie would be stripped of his crew, maybe stripped of a little more than that. And yet, Tony does nothing. He absorbs it. He shrugs it off. He moves on. That is the problem with being Paulie Walnuts in the Soprano family. You are never promoted. You are never punished. You are simply tolerated. And a man who is only ever tolerated is a man who is always waiting for a better offer. Season 6 is where the case closes. Clue number 1, the Vito situation.
There's been confirmation through the grapevine. Vito was seen in a car with a man.
Phil Leotardo tells Maurice Spatafor that Vito's secret has been confirmed through the grapevine, that Vito was seen in a car with a man. That sighting came out of a meeting at Satrial's. Of the people in that meeting, only one is alive, healthy, and has a prior relationship with New York. Paulie.
Uncle Paulie ratting out a guy I don't really even know. I mean, what do you think's gonna happen to Vito?
Clue number 2, Paulie's dream. And remember when? Paulie sees the ghost of Big Pussy, the rat Paulie himself helped kill on a boat, cooking in the kitchen.
When my time comes, tell me, will I stand up?
And Paulie asks him, point blank, when my time comes, will I stand up? Then the show cuts to Paulie, wide awake, in the middle of the night, lifting weights with the face of a man preparing for war. Who is he preparing for war against? Tony just let him live. The Russians are gone. There is only one person left in Paulie's life who is a threat to his survival. Clue number 3, the scissors. In the final season, New York plans its hits out of a beauty salon. Butchie owns the Flatbush Bikini Wax and Beauty Shop, which is where the Lupertazzi crew meets after hours to order the deaths of Tony, Silvio, and Bobby. Cut to a few scenes later,
Anybody need some barber scissors?
and Paulie is strolling into the pork store with a box of brand new scissors, handing them out to everyone. Where did he get those? A gift maybe? 30 pieces of silver in the shape of shears. Clue number 4, and this one is the knockout. In the series finale, Paulie is standing right there when Tony meets with FBI agent Dwight Harris about Phil Leotardo.
In a Brooklyn office. Is it possible he knows where Phil Leotardo is?
Paulie watches the boss of his family feed information to a federal agent about the boss of another family. Think about what that means. In the world of the commission, that is not just a crime. That is the crime. A sitting boss cooperating with the FBI. If Paulie takes that to New York, there is no trial. There is no appeal. There is a sanctioned hit, signed, sealed, and delivered. And we know Paulie sees it, because the very next thing we see is the war ending. Phil dead.
I'm gonna pass.
No, you don't want the job, you don't want the job.
Tony walking Paulie out of Satrial's, pressing a cursed promotion into his hands. And Paulie, who should be thrilled to still be breathing, gives Tony that look we opened this video with, that sad, knowing, 3-second goodbye. He isn't afraid of the promotion. He's mourning the man he's about to hand over. So let's ask the question the show is quietly asking us. After the war, who runs New Jersey?
We're supposed to go see Butch and them on a couple of items.
New York can't just annex it. That's not how the mafia works. They need a Jersey boss who has credibility with the remaining Sopranos soldiers, but who answers to the Lupertazzi family in everything. They need someone who has been there since the 60s. Someone the crews will accept. Someone old school. There is exactly one person in the entire organization who fits that description. Paulie. And now look at the deal from New York's side. The Lupertazzi family has had 3 bosses in less than 3 years. Carmine, Johnny, Phil. Dead, jailed, about to be dead. They are bleeding leadership. They cannot afford another war. And they absolutely cannot afford a sitting boss, Tony Soprano, flipping to the FBI with a Rolodex of every sit-down he's ever attended. Tony has to go, and he has to go fast, before he enters protective custody, before he signs a single page of cooperation. New York needed a Jersey insider who knew Tony's patterns, who could tell them where he'd be, who could deliver him without a war. Paulie delivered. And here's the quiet tragedy of it. He probably didn't even need to pick up the phone.
Horse goes to the doctor.
Patsy Parisi, whose son is engaged to Tony's daughter, has a direct line to Meadow. Meadow tells Patrick about dinner. Patrick tells his father. Patsy makes the call. A bell rings over a diner door. A man in a members-only jacket walks past, and the screen cuts to black. This is the quotable line of the entire theory. Paulie didn't kill Tony. Paulie just stopped protecting him. In a world built on loyalty, that is the same thing. David Chase spent 6 seasons teaching us how to read this world. He showed us that loyalty is a story powerful men tell weaker men to keep them in line. He showed us that the family is a business, and the business has no friends. And in the final scene, he showed us a man who didn't see it coming, but someone did. Someone who had been seeing it coming for a very, very long time. That sad, heavy look Paulie gave Tony outside Satrial's, that wasn't fear of the promotion. That was a man saying goodbye to a brother he had already sold. Quick note before I go. Some of my recent videos had a few facts wrong. My apologies for that. I'll be more careful going forward. And thanks for sticking with me. Now, who do you think made the call that put the members only guy in that diner? Was it Paulie? Was it Patsy? Was it both? Drop your theory in the comments. Don't stop.